He didn't change it yet, John. I'll get a hold of him to
Nah.
change that. We got to get that on. Hey guys, welcome once again to our Let It Run podcast. Here today, Fred York, once again being joined by the traveling handicapper, one of the best handicappers in the country, John Costin. Hey John, where are you at this time? Oh boy, sure, make me jealous
On the
again.
beach. On the beach.
On the beach. That's a terrible studio, John. That's really terrible.
Yeah.
As you know, John and IPA, of course. Last week it was Jimmy's. This week it's the IPAs. It's all good stuff. So, as you know, John we've been very happy to have John join our podcasting team here once again. Last week, great to have him on from Saratoga. We're going to cover some races Saratoga again. For those of you who don't know John, John's one of the top handicappers in the country. Been to 4 NHC finalists down there in Vegas, qualifying in Vegas. Lots of big pick 5 scores, and we got some pick 5 numbers that we're going to put up there. As you can see right now on the bottom in the banner, John has his pick 5. We're going to talk about each of those races as we get through races 6 through 10 at Saratoga today, which is fast and firm. Unlike the track conditions currently at Hallandale Beach and Gulfstream Park. So when I let John go work on his tan after we get done doing the Saratoga work, I'll stay on board and talk a little bit about what's going on in Gulfstream. So, John, what's going on there? How's it going down there in Seaside?
It's a perfect day on the beach and here with all family and friends. And when this is over, just going to enjoy, drink some beers, and watch races.
Nice. Very good. Well, listen, looks beautiful down there. I've been to Seaside, love Seaside. The sky is blue. The water is great. So let's see what we can do to make it an even better day with some good races. So, okay. So let's talk about race 6, the kickoff leg of the mid-pick 5, mandatory pick 5 payoff at Saratoga. It's a maiden special weight, $100,000, 6 furlongs on the fast dirt. It's a field of 7. There was only one scratch, the scratch of the 1, which makes the 1A now not an entry. He's running on his own. So, John, what's your thoughts here on this big race? A couple pricey horses in this race. They're bought for some big time money.
Yeah, this is a tough race to start off a sequence, but the good thing is it's the first race of the sequence that you get to see what the barn money, the live money is doing. So that helps us out. So keep an eye on the board before you make any final decisions. So we're trying to do this, 4 races early, and obviously, like Fred said, the big money horses, the 6, 7, and 8, $500,000 horse, 450, 850,000. Let's see, even the 2, Tom Amos's horse, who ran great the other day as a first-time starter, 18-1, almost pulled it off. So his barn's live.
Okay, cool.
It's wide open, and I would lean towards the big money horses and the big outfits right now. And if one of the smaller outfits pulls something off, pulls something over, you're going to get your price. So go as deep as you can handle on the pick 5.
Okay, and then when we look at your ticket at the end of our analysis here on the 10th race, we'll look. It's up there now for anybody who wants to see the picks that John has made in his pick 5 ticket. I'll put mine up there as we go through. I kind of agree with you. I mean, those horses have been bought for 475K, 450, 555, big time prices. So obviously they caught your eye at the sale, and that's not surprising. I kind of am going to definitely make sure, again, like you said, keep an eye on the board. I think this 2, Oscar's Hope with Jose Ortiz on him, as you mentioned, for Amos. The horse is working out tremendously. We've talked about workouts before. He's working out with clockwork. Hasn't missed a beat, putting in some really solid fractions on his last 3 workouts, big time, including breezing out of the gate twice. So he doesn't have any problem coming out of the gate. So you expect him to get out. The rail at 6 furlongs at Saratoga is hitting at 22%. That's got to help a little bit. Again, a rail runner, does that bother you at all, John, a first-time starter on the rail?
It's so hard to do. It's so hard to win first time. So many times the good horses, it's a good time to catch, a favorite on the rail first time out to try to beat. I mean, so very hard to do.
So if he can get out and get a good ride, and Jose Ortiz gets him out, that'd be good. Jose Ortiz and Thomas Amos, good trainer. The last 60 days, they've been hitting at about 38%. And this horse also, the number 2, Oscar's Hope, I think it certainly has some background, and he's a half to $1 million winner verifier. Look that up. That came across. So that horse is a stakes winner, undefeated. $1 million winner. So that got some class in his breeding and in his background. Even though he didn't get bought for as much as the other horses, but I think that could bode well here, John. So
coming off two bullet workouts from Churchill, and then he brought to Saratoga and duplicated it with another bullet. So the horse is ready to go.
So he took to the Saratoga track, no problem in terms of working out. Okay, awesome. All right, let's go to race 7 here at Saratoga. It is a mile on the inner turf, and allowance optional claiming 75,000. A field of 7 with a couple of scratches. So we scratched out of the main body the number 4 and the number 8, and they also scratched the 2 MTOs, the number 10 and 11. So it leaves us a nice field of 7. So, John, what are you thinking here? I know we talked a little bit about this before we came on the air. What's your thoughts about this nice little optional claiming 75,000 race on turf?
Originally, when I looked at it, I thought it was like cut and dry. It was going to be the 6 and the 7. The 7's out of conditions. He's got to run for the 75 tag. Can't run for the protected anymore because he's already been through this condition.
Okay.
The 3, the 6, if they mix it up on the front, the 6 is going to come flying, coming at a grade 3 race. This is obviously a step down, so he should be flying late. And I thought it was just as easy as 1 on the front end, 1 from behind. But then the more I'm looking at it, the 3 caught my eye with Joe Sharp, who's on fire right now. Irad Ortiz, leading jockey there. They win at 24% clip when them two get together. He could just sit that perfect trip, forwardly placed, sitting second, maybe third. Another speed horse, scratched out of here, the 4, which was a nice scratch for the 3. And I think at the price of 10-1, it's worth trying to throw him in there between the 6 and 7 somehow. Then also I give the 1 a shot because he's bred for the turf, and he hasn't been on the turf yet. They tried the Derby trail, and they got Derby fever, and now they brought him back this year as a 4-year-old, and the dirt didn't work out. So they tried to get him on the turf last time. It got rained off. So now it's first time turf, bred for it, maybe a shot. So I'm going to use the 3 as a value horse with the logical 6-7.
I can't agree with you more. The 6-7 looked very strong. Again, as you mentioned, when I first looked at the race myself, I thought, okay, the 6 big time the depiction with Jose Ortiz on taking a big class drop has by far the best U.S. time form late pace figure of 119, which towers above all the fields. He raced against Donegal, Momentum, Intellect in the last race. A couple of good horses at the Poker Grade 3 at Saratoga. So he's got some really good class. I think he might be hard to beat. But I really, really got excited, as you did, when the 4 scratched, because he was the only other real speed in the race. And I think if Irad Ortiz, who I'm sure will get this horse out, and like you said, either be on the lead or near the lead, I think that's going to give him a good chance to wire the field. At a price of 10-1, that would certainly help any of our tickets in terms of any pick 4s, pick 5s, anything like that you're playing. So I think we got some similar thoughts on that race. So how about if we move on, John, to race 8 at Saratoga, a 6 furlongs, allowance optional claiming 100K, 6 furlongs on the fast dirt. We got a field of 6. The field got shortened up from a field of 8 with the scratch of the 4 and the 5, but we're looking at a nice field of 6, and I think we probably got our minds on a couple horses here, John. So why don't you knock it out, and let's see who you're thinking of right now in this race.
Yeah, it's definitely a hard-knocking bunch of sprinters here that have 44 combined wins between the 8 of them before the scratches. So these horses, they know how to win.
Absolutely.
Damon's Bound. I've been chasing Damon's Bound the last 2 races, and I even took him at 16-1 versus Bookham Dano and Mullican and Nakatomi. So he's really stepping down in class here, but he runs into some nice sprinters. Butchie Reed with Maximus Meridius. The only thing I don't like the last race, it looks good at Parks. He was 1-5 against 7 horses, but he lugged in the whole stretch. He kept lugging in. I don't like that, and stepping up against these horses. Pennsylvania bred. Last time he faced his Pennsy bred fellow horses. Now he's going open company, so he could be okay. But Damon's bound. I'm still going to stick with him. And Little Nye, second time as a 4-year-old, 3 for 4 at the distance. Ran a nose to Bookham Dano, who turned into an absolute monster. Could be one of the best Jersey breds ever now.
Sure.
And I was looking at the 8 a little bit. I was trying to get him involved, but double negative. Blinkers come off, turf to dirt. So, but he does have 19 starts at the distance, 5 wins, 6 and 4. He's got 15 out of 19 at this distance. So, he likes that. He's got 11 wins out of 47 starts, but 8 years old. Is he just maybe had enough? I don't know. So I'm going to lean on the 2 and the 6.
I think we're absolutely on the same page there. I also looked at the 3 like you did, but then again, I came away not so excited about him based on the same things that you mentioned, the lugging in, racing at Park. Certainly not going to have the quality of horses that you're going to see here at Saratoga. So again, I think on that race, we're pretty much on the same page. So that's cool. So let's go to race 9. I think this was kind of a wide open race. There's started with a field of 6, the Saratoga Oaks Invitational for fillies, mile and 3/16 on the Mellon Turf course. So, John, a quick question before we break the race down. A couple of people have asked me about this and talked to me about this. Is there a huge difference between like the inner turf and the Mellon Turf course? I mean, what are we talking about with that?
The inner obviously has the tighter turns. The outer has the big sweeping turns. So some horses find the affinity, for one or the other. And if you look at the difference, got to pay attention to that because sometimes the inner might be favoring speed because of sharper turns. The outer might be favoring closers. And I think this is the first day today they took the rails down. So they're running on the real rail. There's no rails up. So they were running at, 24 feet, recently. So now they all got fresh grass to go on. And we have a system that we've been following. When they take the rails down, the first 2 or 3 races, the speed always stays on that fresh grass for some reason.
Really? Okay.
Look for the speed horse in those, first run over the new course.
Interesting. That's good information. So, on that note, who do you like here?
I absolutely loved the 6 horse, but the more I looked at the race, the 1 is so loose on the lead. There's no pace in the race. The 1 has to go around there by himself, and the 6 has done nothing wrong. I mean, Carmouche rides him with such confidence that almost too confident as he's moving up in class now. He's got to watch. He just times it just right, and he runs past these horses in the stretch. Even the last race at Penn Mall, he closed on a slow pace, and he zoomed up to get in the race, and then he just kept coming, and he got there. And the funny thing with that race, that speed figure is way off. So that 80 buyer speed figure you see there, it should be about an 86, 87. Everybody that came out of that race, Candy Queen added 11 points to her buyer. Raining Flowers added 18 points on their next win. So I bet you're going to see that down the road readjusting for the buyer. That's going to be a readjusted buyer because they messed that up. So I think she's awesome, but the tactical part of the race, the 1 could be long gone. So I would single the 6 in a heartbeat, but I'm so afraid of the 1 getting loose.
No, I agree with you there. Hey there. The buyer, the early pace U.S. time form for that horse 109 kind of blows every horse in here away. And I was looking a little bit at the 2 because Irad's on a horse, but he's a big time closer. I don't think he's going to get enough pace to close into. Obviously, the 1 is the only horse that really is going to be the pace. So that kind of got me off of the 2. I mean, if there was a few more horses in this race, a few more horses with speed, I thought that horse might have a better chance to wire this field. But I agree. I think if you're really looking to make your ticket a little cheaper and include some other horses that you might like, do you think this might be a chance, John, for some of our people to think about singling that horse? That wouldn't be the most terrible bet, would it?
No, my original ticket was singling the 6, but the more I analyzed the 1, I just can't see him, not getting loose. And it's just going to remind me of In Italian, when In Italian was good for Chad Brown, and he won all these
Yeah,
races on the front end, and she just kept
sure.
going and going. This horse, as a 3-year-old now, next year she could become the In Italian of, Chad's
Gotcha.
barn.
Older horses. Gotcha. Good point. All right, let's close it out now with the penultimate race here. The race number 10, the big time race today down there up there in Saratoga. The Sword Dancer, a 1.5 mile on turf marathon race with some very nice horses. We got a field of 8 now. There was one scratch of the 8. I don't know that had a big impact on the style of the race or the effect of the race, in my opinion. I don't think that horse was really much of a player that I could see, but nevertheless, we have a field of 8. So, John, again, a lot of good horses. I think we can go a lot of different directions here. What's your thoughts here?
The 8 scratch to run in Colonial today in the Arlington Million. So going to opt for the bigger purse down there, and maybe some more pace to run at over there. So this race, these Charlie Appleby's. Every time Charlie would send something over here, it was just an automatic. They're winning 47%, and he sent 3 horses over here to the United States this year. So
that's it.
And it's the first time, states Nation's Pride. We've seen enough of him over the time. I don't think he wants to go this far. I think he's off form. Like even Charlie was mentioning it in an interview that he's just not himself anymore. So I'm going to try to take a stand against him. So I'm going to use the other Charlie, the 1. Farbridge, we just know how he's a really good horse, Farbridge, and he likes the distance. But my pick here is going to be the 7, the 15-1
Okay, wow, nice
for Pletcher, and he has just gotten better and better every single start. He's never taken a step back regression yet in his whole cycle here. He's just getting better and better and better. So,
I see that.
Is he a Grade 1 caliber? I don't know. If there's enough pace to run at, he could come flying, and So at 15-1, I think the value is there. And I'm going to use him with Farbridge and the other Appleby, number 1, and try to, eliminate, Nation's Pride. If he beats me at 2-1, he beats me. But, other than 3, I think you got to watch the 9, though. The 9 is another sneaky one that, if I had the budget, I'd probably throw him in. But I'm going to try to get the 7 into, maybe a 7 would be good for like a reverse try key in the 7 underneath, 2nd and 3rd. With these key players, and try to get one of the favorites out of the try, which will make it pay. So that's where I'm playing this race.
I 100% agree with you on the number 7. He also just ran 2nd last time out to Farbridge, and was right there with him. And I mean, Dylan Davis is not having the kind of meet that I think we would expect him to have, or that I would expect him to have. But what I have seen him do well, among many things he does well, but recently and at this meet, is closing on turf. And he's got a horse here on that 7, like you said. I mean, that last race, he just missed. I mean, he came in 2nd, missed by 3 lengths, but only had they call it a mild kick, but he was coming pretty good. I mean, he was 10 lengths back in 4th place. Only 4 horses, of course, that does add a little bit something to in terms of maybe taking a little something away. But the race before was a 12-horse field in a similar spot, not as big as this field is. Or not this is a small field compared to that field being a big field, but I don't think that's a bad choice at all to use that horse. And like you said, if you want to go a little deeper, you could do that. I kind of love the 9. He's another horse sired by English Channel, which is some of the other good horses in this race are also sired by English Channel. He's already won 4 times at this distance, so the distance is not a problem. I mean, you're putting Jose Ortiz on him. That's got to be a solid check mark next to his name. Draw a line through the last time out. If you watch the replay, he got more than checked, and he just kind of coasted the rest of the way, never really used a lot of energy to finish the race. So I think he's still sitting on a good race right now. And I think if he gets a good trip, if he gets a little speed in front of him, I can see with Jose Ortiz on this horse, got to step up in class a little. Like you mentioned, he certainly, has been in some good races, but not to the extent as some of these other good horses have been. And I think he's 5 years old. Okay, it's not terror, and he's got a couple races under his belt, but loves the distance. He's won 5 times 4 of the times he won was at this distance, so that's got to be a plus. So, again, if you're looking to spread a little bit, I mean, I'm kind of going to lean on that horse a little bit, the number 9, Utah Beach, but we'll see how that goes. But it's another good race to end, a nice pick 5 that could have some value in it, as John and myself and have pointed out. And if you look at John's pick 5 that's up there right now, you could see in races 6 to 10, he went deep in the first leg, 1, 2, 6, 7, 8. I went with the 3, 6, 7 in leg number 2. The 2 and the 6, we talked about that in race 8. Race 9, went with the 1 and the 6. And race 10, went with the 1, 6, 7, looking for the 7 to end that ticket with some value. If he's still alive, then that would be nice. I'm going to swing my ticket up there real quick. His ticket costs your ticket costs $90, John? Yeah, $90.
Yep.
John's costs 90. Mine costs a little more, 96. Our tickets are similar in some ways, but different in others. I went with the 1, 2, 7 in the first leg. We both have those 3 horses, so hopefully we can both get out of that. In the next leg, I have the 3, 6, and John and I both have the 3, 6. He also has the 7. In the next race, we also have the 2 and the 6 together. I went a little deeper with the 2, 3, 6, 8. In race 8, John went with just the 1. I'm sorry, race 9, John just went with the 1 and the 6. I have the 1 and the 6 as well. And in the last race, I went with the 6, 9, and John has the 1, 6, 7. So we could both hit on this, John. That would be pretty cool, don't you think?
Yeah, it's possible, and I like our structures.
I think they're good. I think they're good, valuable tickets. You got some value in all the races. I think that could work out. Now, John, I know you're getting sun there. I hope you're not getting any sunburn. You got some. Make sure you have some sun lotion on. Take care of yourself there. But a nice shade tent. There you go.
Yep.
Hey, listen. So you mentioned something about the Arlington Million. What are your thoughts on that? You wanted to get a few shouts in on that, and I agree with you. Let's hear what we got.
Okay, Colonial Downs took over for the now defunct Arlington racetrack that closed, and I was lucky enough to be at the last Arlington Million live at Arlington racetrack. And then they closed the track, and now Colonial revived it, and the CDI took it over. So it's at Colonial now, and they're running all the big races, the Beverly D, the Secretariat, and the Arlington Million. So trying to revive it, and if they could just find the right spot on the calendar, they could get the the right horses. So quickly running through, they got the 7 through 11. They got their big pick 5 sequence. The 7th race starts it out, and a couple scratches. Pretty wide open field. I would like the 8 at 6 to 1. Cart Girl Sam, I'm going to throw in there, but a few others as well.
Wow, okay. And
then the 8th race is 5.5 furlongs, stake race, which 5.5 furlongs on the grass. Anything can happen. Let's see, the 13 horse, 15 to 1 with Castellano, Joe Orsino, local. You would know him from Gulfstream and local Monmouth guy.
Yes, good trainer. Yeah.
So with all the scratches, he's going to be not the 13 hole. We're not getting 15 to 1. We'll probably get 5, 6 to 1, but I think he's going to just sit a perfect trip from the outside, and any of the speed on the inside, he can pounce when he wants. The Secretariat in the 9th race, wide open race for 3-year-olds here, trying 1 mile on the grass. And Bill Mott has a horse in here. It's 8 to 1 that just, broke his maiden 2 starts back, and just exploded on the grass last time for a lifetime, best 86 buyer. Just missed the track record by 2/5 of a second at Saratoga. So he's just coming into his own. And other ones, the 1 is 6 to 1, and the 5 is 10 to 1. So I'm going to use a bunch in there, but I'm going to lean on Bill Mott's horse and Junior Alvarado, the 4. And then we're getting into 2 big ones. The Beverly D, mile and 3/16 on the grass. Looks like another lone speed on the grass. Be your best to 2. Actually, not lone speed, but controlling. But he's going to have a little pressure, and if there's any pressure, the 5, Brendan Walsh horse, 9 to 2, Spanish Eyes will come flying. And Ben Kernis in his interview said he should have won 2 back, but he got stuck in traffic. And he finished 4th by a length. And then last week at Delaware in a paceless race, they went 2:15 for a mile and 3/8. Walked the dog on the front end, and he came flying and just missed by a head. So with a little bit more pace, if they do mix it up, Spanish Eyes runs by, but if not, the controlling speed. The 2, the favorite, will probably hold on. Now the big one,
Okay.
the Arlington Million, a mile and a quarter.
Big time.
You got
I like
two
that.
shug horses, $1 million race, 2 shug horses. Integration, he's 0 for 4 this year, probably the best 0 for 4 horse in the country this year. He just, runs in a deterministic. Carl Spackler, just runs up against those bears, those monsters. So I'm gonna hopefully today's his day. He finally deserves, this race, a grade 1. And Shug's other horse, Fort Washington, hasn't won a grade 1 yet, but he's always chugging along. He'll be coming as well. So I'm going to lean on the 2 Shug, 6 and 8 to end the Arlington Million.
I think that's a nice ticket. Again, it's got value. Everything's fast and firm in Arlington. All good.
Yep, all good. Colonial in Virginia.
Yeah, okay. Didn't know, I know down in Hallandale Beach, like I said earlier in the show, they got dumped on with rain, so they're off all the turf races there. Of course, synthetic doesn't matter. And any of the dirt races down there are sloppy now. So when I get to talking about some of the action at Gulfstream Park, we'll make sure that we cover that. Right now, where you're at, John, is it fast and firm there at Seaside?
Yep. Yes, it is.
All right. Well, listen, John, I thank you again for coming on the show. Look forward to seeing you again. Good luck with your ticket. Good luck with the rest of the week. We'll talk when you head down to Saratoga and see what we can do to put some things together once again there. So you enjoy your family and your friends, John, this week and the rest of this week down there at Seaside, and open up another IPA there, buddy.
All right. Good talking to everybody, and good luck, and let them run.
All right, John. Thanks, brother. Have a good one. Later. All right. Like I said, there's our good buddy, Johnny Costin, coming to us from Seaside. John's the best. And again, trust me, when I say we call him the traveling handicapper, that's no accident. The guy is a traveling handicapper and knows horses. Like I said, don't need to sell his resume anymore because if you follow, the guy's been around. He knows how to bet. He knows how to win. A 4-time National Horse Players Championship qualifier in Vegas. Got lots of wins and some big-time pick 5s and pick 6s, and just missed some lifetime changing scores in some of the pick 6s that we talked about previously. Okay, let's talk about Gulfstream Park. Been a lot of rain down there the last couple of days. Not surprising that they took all the races off the turf. Of course, the synthetic Tapeta is still as it is. That doesn't really get affected by the rain, except when it does rain, they say it gets packed down a little tighter, which could give speed horses a little bit of an advantage. That's not a problem, especially in some of the races we'll talk about. So, the scratches have had a big effect. Obviously, horses coming off the turf, and they're not putting it on dirt. They're coming off turf, going to synthetic. And that's something that we kept our eyes on when we looked at some of the horses that we decided to pick after we know what the changes were. Excuse me. Okay, so we're going to do the races at Gulfstream Park, races 7 through 11. The first race is a 5 furlong on synthetic and claiming $50,000 race. A couple of scratches in this race. None that affected the picks that we really like. It's a very short sprint, 5 furlongs. We fell on the 7. A couple of our horses that we liked scratched. The number 6, Fulminato, scratched out of the race. He was our second choice. Mr. Narcissistic is still in. My best pick, the best pick in this sequence for me is the number 8, Nick's Bro. Being ridden by apprentice jockey Torres, Yabra Torres. I think this horse is going to close. And I know closing in 5 furlongs, trust me, it happens. And this horse is going to close very strong. He's got some pace to run at. He raced in a 5 furlong race on synthetic last time out. Just missed when he closed into a nice field of 7. We have a field of 7 here. He's got a nice post to look at what's unfolding in front of him before he runs into that pace. So that is our first pick, and nothing changed with the scratches affecting him. Our next pick, though, in terms of scratches was the 6 Fulanito, very good speed horse, has won a lot of races. He scratched. So we're going to go with our next choice, which is one of our contenders, Mr. Narcissistic, being ridden by Edgar Zayas, trained by Joseph Saffett Jr. Say no more. You can leave that horse out at your own peril. But again, this horse is a good horse, has won a lot of races in his lifetime. It's 5 for 7 at this distance, so you got to give him an edge there, and 8 for 14 at Gulfstream Park. But again, I'm going to stick with my number 1 pick, which was the 8 Nick's Bro. So let's take a look at that. That is race 7 at Gulfstream Park. Let's go to a really nice race at Gulfstream Park, race 8. It is the Sharp Susan, the $75,000 stakes race for fillies. Some really, really nice horses in here. You could make a case for every one of these horses. They all have run just maybe 1 or 2 races or 3 races at the most. They're looking to take a step up as a 2-year-old and make a name for themselves when they move forward. A couple scratches in this race. Actually, our second and third choices scratched. That was the number 7, Halted Diva, and the number 8, Late Night Text. But that's going to leave us still with our number 1 choice, and I think this is a big play of the day, the number 5, Victory Music. This horse is trained by Michael Maker. He doesn't ship too many horses into Gulfstream Park, but he's doing that this time, and he's putting Edwin Gonzalez on the horse. Tremendous jockey down there at Gulfstream Park, wins a lot of races. This horse is coming out of a big-time maiden special weight race at Churchill Downs. Churchill Downs is known for many things, including quality horses and quality races. So you have to really believe that those horses that they're running against in Churchill Downs are perhaps a level above the horses that we're going to see here. But many of these horses are good horses, not taking anything away from them. This horse won from the rail in a field of 9. It was not bad at all either. He, was 9-1 coming out in the morning line, and post time was 9-1 as well. So I really like this horse. I think I would love to take 8-1 on this horse. I don't think we're going to see 8-1 when the gates open up, but anything near that would be good. So you might want to think about using that horse too in any of your pick 5 sequences. Okay, race number 9 is a mile, which was scheduled to be on turf. It is now a 1.70 on the synthetic. There were some scratches in here. The 1 and 2 scratched. The 6 Lady Cha-Cha, that was our number 1 pick, 9-5 morning line, scratched as well. So we're left with still a nice field of runners, nice field of 7 runners here. So I think what we're going to see here is some things that are going to happen with speed. Again, changing this to synthetic has made a difference in who we like. The number 3 horse, Valiant Hope, I'm going to substitute him since a couple of our top picks were changed because of the scratches. Of course, again, our number 1 pick, Lady Cha-Cha, the number 6 horse got scratched. I'm going to use the number 3, Valiant Hope. He has raced 5 times on synthetic, so he's very familiar with synthetic. He has some serious speed because all 5 of those races were short, 5 furlongs on the turf or on the synthetic. Now he's going to a longer race, 1.70 on a synthetic. I think the trainer, Edward Placek, kept him in the race because the horse has shown an affinity to run on synthetic. I think that's going to play well in this race. So I definitely would try and use him. He's 12-1. Not sure his morning line is going to stay at 12-1. But the other pick that we had as our contenders was the number 9 Starship Boeing. Again, this is a horse that has shown some affinity to close. His last race was on a synthetic at 1.70 and closed very well. He got checked a little bit, so I think that didn't help. But if you watch the replay of that race, you'll see he has a nice closing kick, and that could come in very much in handy here in this race at 1.70 on Tapeta synthetic. So those are our picks in the 9th race. Let's move on to another stakes race at Gulfstream Park. It's another cool little $75,000, the Proud Mama stakes race for colts. Young runners, all 2 years old, 6 furlongs. Now, again, on the dirt, but on the sloppy dirt because it has been raining there quite a bit. So let's look at who we like here. And I really like the number 3, Squire, 9-5 morning line. being trained, one of the two horses in this race being trained by Patrick Biancone. Patrick Biancone is on fire at Gulfstream Park. Wins at 39%. That's pretty solid. Now, he put his go-to jockey, Ocasio, on the 2, the cassette, and that horse is likely to be also bet quite a bit. But I just like the breeding of this number 3, the Squire. And he's one of the two who have already raced. He's raced in the stakes race last time out, $100,000 stakes race. It was on turf. 5 furlongs on the turf at Gulfstream Park. Again, ran very competitively, looked good, has been gelded since then. So I think that's going to have an impact on how this horse runs. Perhaps jockey Luca Panici, who wins a lot of races at Gulfstream Park, will be able to give this horse a little bit of a better ride and have him settle down a little bit more to have some left at the end in that nice little stakes race. The other horse that we liked was the number 8, Capernaum, another horse that has won, recently been gelded, got purchased for more than some of the other horses in this race, so must look good at the sale. Got purchased for $375,000. Being trained by Jack Sisterson, a good trainer down there at Gulfstream Park as well. Also, as mentioned, recently gelded to perhaps get him to calm down a little bit. That's another horse that's got a chance to get. It's a great race. It's a stakes race. Some of these horses are going to make a name for themselves. They'll be up and coming, so you got to keep an eye on them. All right, the last race, again, another race that got changed. It was supposed to be a mile on turf, a maiden claiming 17,500. Big field, even with the going to synthetic, there's only one scratch. The 7, a Great Date, who was our top pick, and he is no longer in the race. So we're going to take a look at another horse that we fell on, and I think this horse has a big shot here. I think it's the number 6, Who's Cookies, and Mo Cookies, who is being ridden by Jose Ferrer, good jockey down there for Armando de la Cerda, a good trainer down there. If you look at the race 3 back on turf, now again, I know it was on turf. He showed some speed. I don't know if there's much speed in the race, especially now that the 7, who might have been perhaps the speed of the speed, scratched out, and that leaves the number 6, Mo Cookies, at 8-1, dropping in class, coming from a maiden 25K into a maiden 17K. I think that bodes well for this horse using their speed to get to the lead. The other horse that has a big chance and that we use as one of our top contenders is the number 4, Lily's Back. This is a reclaim that was reclaimed by trainer Ronald Spatz. He reclaimed him from Oscar Gonzalez. That's a big move, I think, when a trainer reclaims their horse. He closed super well last time on turf, has raced on synthetic the time before, so he can handle both surfaces in a race, which again was originally scheduled for turf. So that is another horse that you might want to take a look at. We played a little pick 5 based on the discussions we just had on these races from races 7 through 11. And what we did was we had a ticket put together like this. Race 7, we went with horses 1, 7, and 8. Races 8, we went with horses 3, 5, 8. Race 9, we went with 2 horses, 3 and 9. Race 10, we went 2 horses as well, 3 and 8. And in the 11th race, as mentioned, we singled the 6, which I think could be the speed of the speed. That is Mo Cookies. So a small ticket like that, 3 by 3 by 2 by 2 by 1 won't cost you much for 50 cents. Costs you about $18. You could play for $1 for $36. So once again, that's the 178 with 358 with 39 with 38 with 6. I highly recommend you play that ticket for $18. Not going to cost you an arm and a leg. Have a chance to get some value. Whenever these horses, whenever races get scratched off the turf and the fields might get a little smaller, the pick 5 pool won't be big, but for $18, you can certainly get a decent return if some of these horses come back winning and look good. So that is our show here today for Let 'Em Run. And once again, I want to thank my good friend John Costin joining us from Seaside Park on the beach. That's why he's known as the traveling handicapper, because you never know where he's going to be next. Next week, he's going to be up at Saratoga again for some big races up there. and John will join us once again to talk about some races at Saratoga. So once again, thanks for joining. And as always, don't forget when we talk about the end of our program, we want you to remember to let them run, baby.